Okay. Hello. I have so many things to share. Okay. Whoa. It sounds like I am in a fight club here. So this is my office. It's very messy. I want to be clear. Tomorrow I'm cleaning it. But this is my like fun wall. It's missing all the things because on the other side is a swing, a platform swing that hangs from the ceiling that hits the walls. Fun. So pictures missing, pictures missing. So like do something good, put it on the wall, and your kids knock it on the ground. Hi.
Hey, how are you?
Good. How are
I'm
you?
good. I just raced in from Henry's cross country banquet.
Oh, okay.
All good. All good.
Oh, I can hardly hear you, so I'm going to swipe. Hold on, let me get. I'm starting to think it's my page.
Does it? Oh, there she is. Does it? I've
All right,
never had it happen. I'm very bright.
Adrian, can you say something?
Yes.
Okay, I'm just gonna zoop zoop. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Okay, now that's real loud. I can hear cooking and scrambling and things.
Doing one of those. What are those reels? ASMR or something?
Yeah, that's real loud.
You're gonna
Cooking.
get yelled at.
Yeah, by me. How's it going? How's everyone doing?
Good. 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 Nice. Off to a nice start to the week. Jack's home. And Charlie took him to see Gladiator tonight. So.
Ooh. I listened to a lot of entertainment talk radio, and they were saying that the plot's not all that good in Gladiator. What have you guys heard?
I never saw the first one, so I don't know much about it.
I read I spent like 40 minutes reading about the latest movie. I love the old Gladiator, so I think if it's like you like that, you'll like it.
Okay.
They
I
have
just know
flooded the
about it.
Colosseum for a naval battle, which is what they did historically.
Okay, say it again.
So the Colosseum, like on the set,
Yep.
they back in the Roman times, they would flood the Colosseum and have put ships in there and have a naval battle.
Wow.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It's funny.
And so that's pretty cool.
I don't expect that you have seen this, but today on my post for Substack is a picture. It's so funny you're saying this. I took of Jack in the Colosseum when we were in Italy.
Oh,
Isn't that weird?
well,
Coincidence?
I wouldn't have known. I don't know how they could have flooded it. I've been in there too, but
Yeah.
I don't know how they would have kept the water in there.
Like there's no containment.
Well, there must
They
be.
put up some plastic wrap or something. Let me make sure. Oh yeah, I am off. Okay. Make sure I'm on Do Not Disturb. Yes. So, everybody ready for Thanksgiving?
Well, I braved Target today. I had to get some other things, so I have to get all my Thanksgiving stuff today. So they had 3 cashiers open, 3 cashiers. And this is the thing that I don't understand. People are so angry. Like, if you turn down an aisle at someone, they're like, oh.
Oh,
It reminds me of, I remember a vivid memory of the beginning of COVID and running to the store, and a lady sneezed in her mask, and people like tried to like mob her and attack her. And like, I'm curious, it was that bad. That's what it reminds me of. Like, there's just no, people are nuts.
I have to share with you guys. I'm so curious, and I know you have a topic, so I don't want to, take that over. But I put up a reel, which I've shared a version of before, and it was received pretty well. This reel has been so polarizing, and I'll share what it is. I ran into a woman who was, I think you'll understand, whose daughter spends time in the special needs classroom. Isn't she amazing? This is incredible. She's so kind. She's so selfless. And I was like, you know, I was in my car leaving the grocery store and it just hit me differently. Like, it's like I have to congratulate people
Mhm.
because their kids spend time with kids like my son. And so I put a reel up about it, and it has been so polarizing. I would say like 70% of the people are like, okay, we see what you mean. The other 30 are out of their minds about it.
Is it because their children's their children are the ones that
Have to be crazy.
are volunteering?
Well, what
Here
I
you go.
love is the word complain. What are you complaining about? At least she's being nice. And I'm like, it's not a complaint. It's just an observation that I can't think of any other instance where this would happen. I would never be like, my daughter spends time with a kid who has diabetes, or I can't think of any other instance where we would have to elevate a kid just for like behavior that should be pretty normalized. So I feel an edginess is what I'm trying to say here.
I have something kind of edgy to say, and I've debated all day, like if I should bring it up or not.
Wait, can I comment on what
Yeah,
she just said though?
Yeah.
edgy thing.
Okay. What I love about what you just said is Blair, my two are home from school. And when Blair got home on the way from the airport, she was like, I mean, the dumbest thing is happening at school. And I was like, what do you mean? She goes, well, we have to get these service hours, right? Like every year you have a certain number of service hours you have to get for high school. She goes, you get service hours for volunteering with people with special needs. And so I said to the advisor, I've already gotten all my hours. If, if you're going to get hours, I mean, I live with him. What?
Right.
This
Oh my God.
is ridiculous. And she was like, well, write me a letter or something, writing it up. And Blair goes, I mean, I think it's ridiculous that you get hours for it, but I'll be darned if I'm going to let other people get hours and I'm not getting them.
Yeah.
But she gets it.
Yeah.
Like
That's
I'm observing is the praise.
right.
Like specific to this topic, not like, hey, you're a good person, you're very kind. It's like, because you do X, Y, and Z. That's what I'm observing. But I was
And I
all
think
that.
we have to really be careful about the way I've shared it is inclusion is way more than showing up for Special Olympics.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, this is a wonderful day, but Amos's classmates genuinely love him.
Mm-hmm.
And it is only because they've had a chance to really get to know him.
Right.
Because it goes from like, oh, say hi to Amos to like, Amos, come on. I mean,
Well,
I think we,
Amos is a real friend. Amos is a real person. Like he's not like a token that like you.
yes.
Yes, and there's this asymmetrical relationship. Like we go into the classroom. I don't know. It's not the first instance it's like, shown up for me, but I was just a little surprised at how divided people were.
Yeah.
When
That is funny. You never know, people getting their panties in a wad.
No, when I first entered the special needs world, I went to this group called the Pacer Center, and you can go there and learn how to be a parent coach, which is so funny because I was like 5 minutes a mom to a child with autism. So I probably had no reason being a coach. But I remember this woman, and this has stuck with me. So this has probably been 10 years. She said, all of my daughter's friends are paid employees. And I didn't know what I did not know what she meant. I want to be clear. And Carrie's nodding. So her daughter was in her 20s and had Down syndrome and autism and whatever else. And everyone that spent time with her was paid. It was all, but she didn't know that. She didn't know that they were PCAs or aides. They were like just young girls that were there taking care of her, but she thought they were her friends. Yeah. And so she cried about it when she talked about it, how it just broke her heart. She's like, I just don't know if my daughter would ever have any real friends or paid. That's sad.
I know. I mean, Jack's in a supported community and they have staff there. I've talked about that endlessly from 7 a.m. to 11 at night. Those are his friends. Like he misses them when they leave. He talks about, there's a handful of them that he favors. He really loves when they are working, but yeah, they're employees.
So are they college kids too, or are they like adults?
There's a mix. There's young adults. What I find is it's a lot of grad students because
That's
you kind of want that fun,
like
like
an RA.
easy going. Yeah, like an RA. Like
But they're
and this broke my,
the same age. I mean, that's kind of interesting, you know?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, they're not much old. Yeah, they're if not the same, then maybe a couple of years older. But someone in his program a couple weeks ago got into trouble, and they asked him to leave because he threw a chair. And I was talking to Charlie about that because my heart breaks so much for that family because it's such a long road just to get them into this program. And now it's now what, right? We were faced with that. He was never asked, but we weren't sure. And Charlie's like, do you know how many times people throw chairs in college? And it's so true. Like
Right.
everything they do is under such a microscope. Charlie's telling me how he's part of the baseball team and some kids did some stuff to the baseball house and the seniors were irate and they were, like stuff like that happens. So to end a future because of it is so heartbreaking to me.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and you've
Mm-hmm.
mentioned that before. One thing I think that's changing, Carrie, even since, I've known you with Jack, is that these colleges are popping up doing these programs. Like they are really not that unusual anymore.
Right.
I mean, at least like there's NC State has just opened up their class for next year. And I saw a young woman with Down syndrome has been accepted for next year.
Mhm.
That's Clemson, NC State. I mean, they're really, there's a lot of them now.
And a lot of them are in colleges. Like Jack's is a
Yes,
stand.
this one is on the campus.
Yeah. And I know a great educational coach. And I remember when we didn't know if Jack was going to be successful. He was like, we will find somewhere. It's not this or nothing. There are other options. But I know as that family, when you're like, was this the right decision? And then to have him come home would have been devastating.
So is it one, right?
I only know the backstory through Jack.
I wonder if your place is more critical than like a public university program.
That's what I'm thinking because
Very
it's like such a
curious.
yeah. And they're all it's 44 of them and it's very managed. It's very all eyes on them all the time. So well, Adrian got a chance to talk to Jack today.
I did.
On the
I sure did. What a hoot.
Dude, I was picking him up from the dentist, Joe's
What a fun guy. What a fun guy.
He's very,
Very fun.
He's interesting.
And
he's like, I'm getting
and
up.
light.
Oh, he's so lighthearted. I should have said Mrs. Wood. I said, this is Adrian.
No, that's what I call myself to all my young friends.
Yeah, I always did too. But no, he enjoyed you. He said he would consider coming to your video. She said, I think you should come on a video to talk about, pointers kind of.
Well, I just said, Jack, I would love to be able to ask you questions because I do value, what he thinks about things. Like he was asking some questions about Amos,
yes.
which was really nice. And I said that Amos gets scared of movies. In fact, he thinks Home Alone is very scary. And Jack was like, Home Alone? Scary? Which is, so it's kind of fun to hear his thoughts on like headphones. Should you encourage those? I don't know. He was like, everybody's different. I was like, this is true.
Oh. But it's so interesting the difference between Amos and Jack. Like Jack can sit through the goriest, most terrifying movie and it's really like over his head. So the fact that Amos can dial into topics that scare him is
no, it's just he doesn't watch them enough to know if they're scary. He doesn't like any loud, scary noise coming from another room. Like Home Alone, like there might be someone screaming.
Yeah.
So it's not like he's tuned in because he ain't watching.
I see.
He's like,
yeah,
Home Alone is scary.
But what's different with Cooper though? And so I'm curious about Amos. Cooper won't watch any new movies. Like, so at some point in his life, he deemed the movies that he likes and he just watches them over and over again. So like on Friday nights, typically we have a movie night. He'll sit down there, but he's not going to watch the movie. And I don't know how to bridge that gap. I don't know how to get him to so it's like Moana, Cars, Jungle Book, Polar Express. He has his movies. But will we ever get anything new? I mean, there's been no new edition movie-wise. And
Well, I said we went to Barbie, like, I don't know, I guess it's been almost 2 years ago, and he enjoyed it, but he doesn't watch any movies at all. He watches like different airlines taking off,
Mm.
Yeah.
or he'll like, now if we're at a place and they only have certain shows, like at a Gone somewhere. What are you watching?
I'm watching good stuff.
You,
Big bad wolf.
he's watching good stuff.
No way.
He's watching,
No way.
he's watching like 1950s Big Bad Wolf.
Is he saying go away?
To me, yeah.
I love it.
He's in there in his robe like Hugh Hefner eating a peanut butter toast sandwich.
So we brought Cooper to the dentist last week, which I won't get into, but they started us in a private room. And I had requested that because we didn't know what was going to happen. And in the private room, they didn't have the TVs. And the open chairs, they must have. So she goes, do you want to move to a chair with a TV? And right away I go, yeah, probably, now that we're in here. I go, but
you
wait.
can watch actual TV at the dentist?
It's like Netflix. I think maybe they have other stuff too.
Wow.
But so here's the problem.
It's awesome.
I need to transfer that.
There's honestly nothing. I can't think of one show right now that Cooper watches on Netflix.
Uh-huh.
So like, what do you? So then he sits down and he immediately takes the remote from her because he's like doing it, and I'm like, shit. Now we're going to be focused on the TV. We shouldn't have moved.
Mm-hmm.
It's things like that. Like for example, like where our little ones get their haircut, Salon Bambino. It's a children's salon, so they have TVs right there. Yeah. They would watch whatever is on. Mm-hmm. It wouldn't matter if it was Cinderella to whatever. They're going to watch it. Cooper is so unique. He's always been that way. Like,
that's where Amos has made a little bit. That's where I've seen progress in the last couple of years. Like when I said, well, if you go to a hotel, he can deal with, if there is a kids channel, we can ahead of time. If there's something, you know what I mean? Like he has a repertoire that's okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Instead of having like a breakdown over I'm looking for my hot tea.
And
instead of having a breakdown over it.
He's never watched a movie with us. Like he loves going to a movie. I don't think he really takes much in. Like Joe was asking him because he claims he watched the first Gladiator in preparation for tonight. And Joe's like, well, what did you think of it? And he's like, it was good. But he couldn't tell you like the plot or a favorite character. And he never watched, except for game shows. Jack loved
Cooper loves game.
Yeah, like 25 words or less. That got us through the pandemic. We watched that with Meredith. I can't think of her name.
Vera.
Yeah.
I've never heard of that game.
Oh, he loved it. You had to get them. It's kind of like Taboo. Like you had to get them to guess words using a few other words or whatever. He had us, but again, it was more the act of being in charge of us, making a snack, kind of getting the household to do what he wanted. So it's less about whatever he's going to watch. He would never come sit on the couch next to me and watch something.
Cooper loves Family Feud, and Family Feud is actually kind of racy. Like it's a little like, I mean, it's fine, but it's a little sexual and a little like Steve Harvey's a little naughty sometimes. So like he'll hyperfixate on certain clips. Cooper's favorite one is like, what is something you don't want to pick up at the bar? That's his favorite one. And like the answer is like, an STD! Like it's like yells. Like we hear it like all day long.
Well, you're too young, Kate, but I don't know, Adrian, do you remember, who was it? Richard Dawson used to be the host. He was such a pervert. He kissed all the women on the lips.
That is true. Yes.
It's like shocking, but we grew up like watching him. And now we watch some of that with the kids, and they were like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I have a family real story. So one of my people in my world, a woman, her family was on Family Feud and they won. They won like both rounds. But what she told me, like the insider information, you don't know when Steve Harvey's going to show up. So they had to be there at like 8 a.m. and you don't know if he's coming at 9 or 10 or 8 or whatever. And she had just had a baby and she was pumping and breastfeeding and all that. And he didn't come for hours and she leaked through her shirt. They wouldn't let her, they had to give her a different shirt.
Oh, that's
just
awful.
like, keep your $10,000.
Yeah, that's not worth it to me. That's terrible.
Yeah, I might not have
So,
been on Family Feud when I was breastfeeding. Yeah.
Well, I think they signed up for it, and her family.
yeah, probably before she was
Yeah.
pregnant. I mean, they take like a long time. That's crazy.
I'm pretty sure if Mama Woods like get your ass to Family Feud, you're gonna be there.
We're gonna win.
I mean,
My family never wins.
my mother-in-law, if my mother-in-law tells me to go to Family
Dressed
Feud.
in costume.
You're right. I probably would go if they went, just because I'd want to hear what they're gonna say.
Yeah, that would be funny.
So
My in-laws. Oh, never.
No,
Go ahead.
tell it first.
So last year we had. This is funny. My sister-in-law was here for the weekend with her husband, and we had a really good time. And she had met my in-laws for coffee, and then called and was like, "We're at the place getting the Christmas tree," and I was like, "Oh gosh, the Christmas trees are in." I didn't know, like, I've got to run up there and get mine right away. And she goes, "Well,
Like,
you're
there's
not
only
gonna."
one place
There's
you could
not
go.
Eaton for everyone. Like, are you fighting for them?
Like the Cabbage Patch dolls of years before.
Yes, and they bring in one group, and there aren't like a person that had moved here recently was like, "I'm going to wait for the next batch." I was like, "See you in 2025, because this is all you get. So you better get it today and take it home and put it in water, or that sucker's going to be dried out sitting here, for the next 3 weeks."
I picture Edenton like you take a bridge to like an elevator to like all of a sudden you're there.
Kind of. I've been.
Yes, that's what it's like. Well,
if you don't eat by 9 o'clock, you're not eating.
yeah, Carrie. I mean, there's a reason I provided food for the weekend, Carrie. Carrie'd be like, "We're going to go out." I'd be like, "Yeah, you are."
No, not even 9. Like, but we had fun.
So my sister-in-law's like, "Oh, Mom's already told him that you stole her tree last year." I'm like, "I did not steal the frickin' tree." So last year they get their tree, I go get mine, and they write on the tree wood, and then they deliver the tree. So they delivered a tree to me. I put the tree up, I decorated the tree, and my in-laws came over like the next day, and they were like, "You have our tree." And I was like, "You mean this tree right here?" They're like, "Mm-hmm, it's ours." And I was like, "Well, have at
But
it.
now,
I mean, you can do whatever you want. If you want to undecorate it and put the other one up in here." They were like, "Hey." So they were like pissed that I got the good tree. So this year they have written Tom Wood in big letters on a piece of yellow paper and duct taped it to their tree.
Do you live that close to them? I didn't realize you were that close.
7 miles.
I did not know that.
yeah. But I don't think I can
close.
look at the tree and be like, "That's the one I picked out."
So their like big plantation, beautiful home is 7 miles from your house.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did visits during her last tour.
We lived there 9 years. We lived there until Blair was a baby.
For some reason, I pictured them like in a different city.
Well, they have a little place in Raleigh too. They do a lot of hopping. They go between Raleigh and Edenton. They run a bed and breakfast here. I mean, they full on, cook breakfast.
But you don't see them that much.
I see them.
I see them.
I mean, they pop by a lot.
Yes.
And if I go to the coffee shop in the morning, they're always in there.
Oh,
When in the summer, when I stay at the beach and Thomas is home, I really encouraged him this summer. They ate dinner together on Wednesday nights.
Oh, that's.
Yes. So I try to encourage, a lot of time with them together.
Mm-hmm.
I have my own parents that I am in charge of.
Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Only one set is plenty for me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Is our service okay?
I think so.
Yeah.
You got a little blurry. You froze a tiny bit, but not bad.
Yeah.
Oh, and then.
And she's out just like, "I'll see you in the spring." Goodbye.
One Christmas tree, please. That's crazy.
I can't even, I just don't believe any of it. I know it's true.
Seen it. I've been there. It's beautiful.
But is it rural?
It's like a tiny little town. It's like a villagey feel to it. You walk everywhere. There's like a handful of restaurants.
It's a very tiny town, like 700. Maybe now it's like 1,000. But what's I don't understand is like there weren't like, and maybe it's because we're in a colder climate, but like people weren't like walking around at the coffee shop and stuff. Like the way she describes it, like if it's that small, how does it have restaurants and stuff?
It's very walkable. She drives a golf cart everywhere. Like you just look over and she's like zipping up the street in this golf cart. I mean, it's not a lot. Like I'm in a small town, but I mean, my town is easily like 10 times bigger than hers. It's just this very insider feel to it. Like you belong here or you don't.
Oh wait, did she try to come back?
I can't see any comments. Is that?
I don't think there are any comments. I don't know what's happening. Oh,
I don't know
You
what
said
happened.
you said, well, how's the thing? And I was like swiping over to see if my signal was good, and then boof, I was gone. And then you all were talking about me, and my sister-in-law's commenting like dying.
I
on
said
the
we
video.
loved your.
I'm not seeing any comments. Who's commenting?
I don't see
Well,
any comments.
I couldn't see any comments until I was watching.
Oh, we
But
need a
I was-
moderator.
That's what happened. I tried to swipe over to see the comments, and I ended up gone. Where are the comments?
I don't know what's happening.
I thought you guys could see them, and for some reason I couldn't.
No, but I could see them when I wasn't on.
Okay, so first things first, can you guys just both say who you are really quickly, and then I want to share something about our book.
Yeah, I'm Adrienne Wood. I live in a very small, tiny town and drive a golf cart.
All
And I have 4 children, and one has autism. The little one, he's 11.
I'm Carrie. I have 5 kids, married to Joe, and 21, 20, 19, 17, and 15. Jack is 20, and he is diagnosed with autism.
So I'm also about to have a 19, 17, and 15 too.
Oh, you do?
Well, Thomas will be 19 in December. Then mine will be 19, 17, 15.
19, so funny because that's when I met my husband. Is 19, so I feel like really coming into being, young adults. And my 19-year-old took Jack to see Gladiator tonight, so they're out.
Yeah, is Joey coming home
Tomorrow night.
Okay. Is your girlfriend this time or not till Christmas?
Say that again.
The girlfriend. Is that Christmas time?
Christmas. She'll come at Christmas time. He's only here. Oh, he's such a turkey. I think we talked about this last time. He's here tomorrow night, and then Thursday's Thanksgiving, and he leaves Thursday night to go skiing with his friends way up north.
Oh, yeah. Oh, sounds like fun.
He's 21. Like what? Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's.
So I was Sawyer. We were in the car the other day, and I was saying to him, there's going to come a time when you're not going to want to be here every night. Like I remember that shift in my childhood when I became a teenager and started doing stuff all the time. I can't picture my kids like Sawyer not being here every night. Like
Carrie, do your other kids really did they want Joey home?
Yes. Joey's very easy. He's sort of like somebody pointed out I don't talk about him that much. And the truth is he hasn't lived here in 3 years, but he's sort of a gem. He's kind of definitely like that leader of the family, and they all, and my youngest adores him.
Mm-hmm.
So he just brings an energy. He's very funny. I mean, side splitting. My kids are funny.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably their best quality, or they think they're funny. Maybe that's it. But
Mm-hmm.
I took Henry, my youngest, we stopped at Dunkin' Donuts, and he always gets these wake up wraps that come out so hot. I don't know if that's your experience. Like you can't even touch them, right? Like ham, egg, and cheese wake up wraps. So he does this whole pantomime that he's a blacksmith with a thing that you put over your face, and then he's using the tool to serve it through the window. I don't know, weird thing. But that's the kind of ridiculousness my kids are known for.
I think Sawyer's starting to get funny. He's 11. He's starting to
He's funny.
talk older. You know what I'm saying? like starting to like become like a buddy in a way.
Yeah. It's a good time. I love it. I love when they're all together, but I also know by Sunday it'll be like, okay, it's probably time for everybody to go back to where they live now.
Yeah.
It's a
Well,
lot of personalities.
my crowd, the reason I said it is because they're like, when is Thomas getting here? Like nothing can start until Thomas being around really, the middle two are really keen on
Yeah.
having him around.
And there's lots of debate about what to do on that one night together. Like Jack has this whole plan of what he would like to do. He likes to go to the same restaurant and stop at Dairy Queen after. So maybe that'll be our Wednesday night. I don't know. Yeah.
Will they let him, like, do they like let him have the pick what you guys do? Is that kind of the norm?
It is. It definitely, now that we're not all together as much, like they're very flexible around him. What's so interesting is like he's been home since yesterday, but he really does his same. He claimed the basement for himself because Henry took over the bedroom they shared. Like he popped up out of the basement. I was like, oh, like I forgot he was here for a little bit, because he kind of goes and does his own thing and then he pops up. And then today he cleaned all the shower heads.
Oh.
That was like on his list. When I come home, we will go. He texted it to me, go out to lunch. He needs new sneakers, clean the shower heads. And I was like, whatever, Jack.
That is so weird.
Will he like wash the windows?
He would do anything I asked, like today. And I think people can relate to this. Like it kind of brings me right back to what it was like to keep him busy. Like I'm right back in that role, even though it's only for 4 or 5 days of like, what's Jack going to do next? You know, he doesn't drive. He doesn't have any connections to our community, but I also don't want to keep him like working, doing my work. But today he emptied all the flower pots and he brought up all the Christmas decorations. And he texted me first thing this morning from the house. By the way, we were both still in the house. He texted me, I emptied the dishwasher. He makes my life very easy.
Wow.
Yeah, because he just
He can come stay with me.
He's always been this way. He looks around and sees what needs to be done and like anticipates it. Like
he and Joe are like the same person.
He and Joe are similar, but they're like, because he's reminded Joe no less than a dozen times that the water filter in the refrigerator needs to be changed.
Oh gosh.
Well, you put a reel of him up today. You were asking about the movie, and as he was talking, I was like, felt like I was listening to Joe.
Yeah.
Because Joe is very serious when he's on video. Like he's almost like he's in like trying out for a movie or something.
Like you read about How to Be Human from a catalog.
I mean,
like,
Joe, I was like, they're the same person.
But in person, you've met Joe, is so much warmer and more relaxed. That's why I don't put him on video anymore.
He's just very, and he moves his hands like you said Jack does. Yeah, very similar.
Yeah. It was a moment. So I picked Jack up at the bus station and it was a different location. So he probably texted me 32 times. Don't forget, I'm at this location, this location. Okay. And I know we've talked about this here, that he came off the bus and I was like, wow, like he talks to himself a lot. And he's very tall, but he hunches. Mm-hmm. And his clothes weren't quite fitting. And I thought, he gives off the vibe, like you would not mistake him for not having something, if that makes sense. So
does he someone on the bus ride, or does he just keep to himself?
This time I was so happy to know this. He rode with the roommate he had the first year at the program, Jimmy. He's like, oh no, I rode with Jimmy. But normally I was telling somebody this, maybe you, Adrian. He's very rigid about the rules. So a couple trips ago, the woman next to him did not put her things in the overhead bin, which probably that's what it is. So my oldest, Joseph, does not respond to the group chat. You could be like, the house is on fire, we can't find the dog. He would not respond to the group chat for like 8 days. Jack put that in. There's someone, and he latches onto these phrases, right? There's a Karen next to me and she should really put her stuff up overhead. And Joe, my oldest Joseph, was like that. Like, it's okay, Jack. You're not going to worry about that. Like really putting the blinders kind of on Jack and like refocusing him. So it was fascinating.
That's nice.
Yeah, but spreading autism awareness in young adults all over.
Well, I think, I mean, he's not going to look the same because he's not the same,
Not this,
you know?
right. And
I
it's
mean,
so hard as soon as he comes to me, for me not to start in like stand up straight and and then I was telling Adrian this, and this is so like he has a really terrible haircut. So he went to a new barber, and I said, "Well, what did you tell him?" And he said, "I just told him short." And it is like well, it's a buzz cut. It's a buzz cut, and it's not great. And he doesn't like it either. So it's just these little nuances. Like I would have been able to massage that, right? Like
Yeah.
longer on the tops or whatever. But I can't wait to see what my oldest comes home looking like tomorrow anyway, with a big mop of hair. So
Oh my gosh, Sawyer's hair is so long. Okay.
Okay.
So first things first, do one of you have our book cover? My book is in with my stack of books in the car. Yay!
The real book, not the real book, but a book.
Yeah, we haven't like verbally announced together, have we yet, that our bookstores are doing something fun? So my local bookstore, Valley Bookseller, is selling signed copies of our books. So every book ordered through Valley Bookseller, and I'll share a link right now as soon as I'm done with my spiel. If you pre-order from them, it's going to come signed by all three of us. And someone said, "Is it a stamp?" And I said, "Nope, these two are flying to Minnesota and it will be hand to book, each copy signed." But for something fun tonight, if you comment right now your favorite Thanksgiving food, I'm going to pick 3 winners to gift a signed book to.
I love that.
Yeah, so just it up for a few days, but just comment your favorite Thanksgiving food. And if you don't win, we would love it if you pre-ordered. I'm going to put a link right now to order your own. US only. I'm sorry. And then tell about your bookstores, guys.
Go ahead, Adrian.
mine is Quail Ridge Books in Raleigh, and they have, so Carrie and our bookstores will have book plates, which was not a term I'm familiar with. So I'm just going to operate that most of you are like me and don't know these things. Basically, we take a piece of paper and the 3 of us will sign the paper and it will go in each book,
Yes.
which some people like more because then they can frame it and put it up on their wall.
Oh,
Well,
I just made that up.
I
frame.
was gonna say,
And
The
that
first
is
novel made.
Quail Ridge Books, which is in Raleigh. And I'm hoping we're going to have a book signing. In our plan, we're going to get to some book signings around, right?
oh yeah. Wouldn't it be neat? I'm just throwing this out there. We have not talked about it, to have a book plate with Cooper, Jack, and Amos's signature.
I have a Cooper stamp because so I've shared this before, but so I
That might
did
be
this.
smarter because Amos will write his name twice and then be done.
Okay, so I did a
Sell
Christmas
it.
promotion at Valley Bookstore seller after my book came out. I thought I would sell like 5 copies. I sold like 1,000, and so Cooper signed 2.
Yeah.
2. And so I got a stamp made, and it's so cute. You can hardly tell it's a stamp.
Yeah.
It's so cute.
I was thinking about getting a stamp for Jack. He signed a couple of books for me, but he was very curmudgeonly about
Where do
it.
you get a stamp made? This is a whole new world.
It's just that you get a signature, and you upload the signature. It's just any store. I can't remember the one I did.
Etsy. My friend got one from Etsy.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So mine is Gibson's bookstore in a great town nearby called Concord, New Hampshire. It's a very popular bookstore, has a great children's section in a great part of town near a place called Vibe Burgers, which is interesting because I actually reference Vibe Burgers in the book.
oh, awesome.
Yeah. And I also wanted to say that we talked about doing some merchandise with Autism Out Loud on some sweatshirts and hats and all of that. And that is live. So if anybody's interested in for Christmas, like maybe you wanted to buy a book for somebody, but you have no way to sort of give the gift, you could buy, there's tote bags, sweatshirts. What else are there? T-shirts. My subscribers, hats. I put the link up and they were all like, what about a hat? What about a tote bag? What about that? So I wound up going back and adding. And then Adrian was like, what about a shirt that has a plain logo? Without, because I did one with this like starburst, and so there's plain versions also. So
for the men in your life.
the man in your life. And so I will post the link once we hop off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So comment your favorite Thanksgiving food, and I will pick 3 winners to win an autographed copy of our book. You won't get it till April 2nd or 3rd because it's not out till April 1st. And then Carrie, you'll share the link, or I will if I do it.
Yeah.
What is y'all's favorite Thanksgiving food?
Okay. Keep talking.
What's
wrong?
I really love stuffing, and I love the canned cranberry sauce.
Well, me too. I don't even know if I can eat real cranberries.
I can, but I grew up on canned with the ridges. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and I have a family video of my aunt dumping the can, and I'm like, oh, look, homemade cranberry sauce.
I can take or leave the turkey, but I love the next day, and we don't host it, so I don't have leftovers really anymore. I love a Thanksgiving Day wrap, like where you put all the ingredients. Oh, it's like my favorite. I just ate, and my mouth is watering. And I love mashed potatoes, but do not come at me with a yam. I will not be eating any yam.
So we go out for Thanksgiving lunch and have for years now, but my mother still makes lots of the things for leftovers. So that might be what you need to be doing.
I think I might do that, even just like a turkey breast.
Turkey breast, green bean casserole, some sweet. I think it's less pressure when you're not cooking the lunch. Like it's almost fun.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I'm going to make a few of these things and have them in the refrigerator.
Yes. And I love just a plain stuffing, no sausage or I don't know, oysters. Some people really mix up. Yeah.
Is there stuffing? Does all stuffing come from a box? The red box?
I get the box. I get a bag of not Stouffer's, breadcrumbs, like already, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Oh.
So no, but I mean, I grew up on that on that stuffing.
I've just never made stuffing.
Yeah. That and rice-a-roni. Do you remember rice-a-roni?
Mm-hmm. I've never had rice.
You make hamburger helper? I just made it the other day.
Did you?
I was like, make homemade foods, and I made it. It was so good. It's
so good. You don't even need to add hamburger.
So good.
That's what they say in National Lampoon's Vacation. They're eating hamburger helper.
Remember that part where her own
with that hand in the punch? She don't talk, Clark. She don't have any tongue, but she can eat like a hog and whistle like a bird.
I don't know that movie as well.
Wait.
I don't
what?
think I've seen the whole thing.
Oh, you haven't seen the whole movie of National Lampoon's Vacation?
I've probably seen it more than I could yeah, a million times.
I've seen that more than I've exercised in my life.
That's a really interesting comparison.
Hundreds of hours of National Lampoon's Vacation.
I'm shocked by the movies that I have not seen. I've never seen 16 Candles.
Oh, so good.
I've never seen, what's the one where they all get detention?
Breakfast Club.
Breakfast Club?
I've never seen the whole Breakfast Club, but I'm a little young.
You're younger. Carrie is not young. She's my age.
Like people are shocked.
Have you seen E.T.?
Yes, I've seen E.T.
Have you seen the Goonies?
No.
Oh, Goonies is the best movie of all time. We just put that on for Sawyer. We forgot about the statue that the kid breaks the penis off, and he's like,
oh, I bet he thought that was so funny.
Oh my God.
No, I've never seen the Goonies. Rockies. I was very into my family watched Rocky, and I've never
seen watching Rocky.
Yo, Adrian. I know Rocky.
That's one of the top movies, and The Godfather. And my father took us to see E.T. This is a very poignant memory, but because my father was a very frugal man, so him taking us to the movies was a big deal. But I remember he went out and left us for a little bit, and then came back, and I could smell like M&Ms on him that he didn't buy for us. He ate them in the lobby.
That's like that movie, The Glass Castle, where they the mom's eating under the blanket and the kids are starving.
Yeah. I mean, we weren't starving, but yeah.
Horrible.
You never read that book?
No, I read that.
Oh,
book. That book is so good.
It sounds
so good.
Disturbing.
Oh, it's the best.
It is
seller.
Disturbing,
yeah.
But and did you read Educated?
Oh. No, but I haven't. I've not had that.
That was good.
Yeah.
It was kind of in the same vein.
Similar.
Parent. Yeah.
Okay. So I have a topic. So for anyone watching, we try to have a topic. And mine is a two-part. What is something, so when you got the diagnosis of autism, and then now flash forward, we're 11, right? Amos, 11 or 12? 11?
11.
11. And our age is 20. Jack's 20. What is something that ended up being easier than you predicted and something that ended up being harder than you predicted? Isn't that a great question?
For the audience, we do not get these ahead of time. We are expected to answer.
Predicted from when? Like last year or at the time?
Yes, just in the beginning of autism, when you know, like this isn't mine, but like everyone told me puberty's so hard. Just you wait for puberty. You know, like it's like, gosh, stop trying to scare me. Like that's
Right.
But I'll tell you the thing that has surprised me the most with being hard is there's certain behaviors that I just cannot curb. Like no matter what I do, Cooper, like his obsession with technology and the sound and hunting for technology and constantly taking people's phones. He was at my mother-in-law's last night and he took the plastic part off her phone, the cover, and like, you know, like the screen protector, and like snapped it. And like, she's so great. Like she handled it great, but I could tell she was a little upset. But like that will probably happen for the rest of his life. Like he is so hyper fixated. I always, like, the way I think about life is like you put the work in and it gets easier. And there's certain things with Cooper that just, there's a lot that have got easier, but the technology has not gotten easier. The obsession.
It's funny because Adrian asked Jack about technology today, remember, in the car?
Yeah.
Like he was on the speakerphone in the car and he's like, well, I'm not addicted to technology. And I'm like,
I said, do you find that you're drawn to, because I told Carrie that Amos used my sister-in-law's iPad over the weekend, and it was like a really big thing. And actually it was mine, but I said it was hers because it was, there were 7 girls in here, it was loud, and he was getting elevated. And I was like, would you like to use Aunt Caroline's iPad? And he wants to play Lego Duplo. I mean, nothing bad.
Yeah.
And that was great though, because she leaving, because like you said, we cannot, there is no, it's like me with cigarettes. You go have one, you're going to have a zillion. I mean, you know.
yeah.
So then she left and it was fine. But I asked Jack, I said, are you drawn to technology? And he was
He
like,
was like, no. Why would you say that?
no, he didn't say no. He said,
What did he say?
he said, sort of.
Yeah.
I think he knew that he was afraid Carrie might like call him out. So he had to give a rendition of the truth.
Well, I am grateful we didn't have iPads because I know how
That's
easy
what Carrie said. Like, we didn't even have the option.
and
you wonder what people did back then before TV, like being able to pick a TV show.
Yeah. He was obsessed with those Baby Einstein videos. I mean, he would watch them on
Ema still likes those.
I remember bringing him, we have the Boston Aquarium's like a big deal around here. We brought him to that and they had a video screen playing something like penguins. And he was immediately entranced, like movie. And I remember this pit in my stomach thinking just what you said, Kate, like he follows that input around and would do, and like you're looking at a live penguins right here next to you. He wanted to see the screen.
So we took a leap of faith after our trunk or treat and went out to eat with a bunch of our autism family friends at our friends own a pizza ranch, and we got to be like in this private room. There's a TV up on the screen a TV up on the wall, and it was off. Cooper immediately found the remote, but then it wasn't like hooked up to anything. Like it must have been for like happy birthday messages or the menu or something. And he could not, I mean, he was so mad. He was taking the batteries out and putting the batteries back in and hitting the remote. Like it's almost to the point where we can't even go places with technology. Like
we've been there. I tell you what I noticed that helped with that was up in the anxiety medicine.
Well,
we're at the max. So.
Or adding something like gabapentin, like that. When we have troubles like that, I always feel like medicine can help us because it's like this it's almost like you're rabid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like he cannot stop
Yep.
Like they're
himself.
hungry for it.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah.
Age-
So what do I
Oh
find?
yeah.
What came? Oh, you go first, Adrian.
No, you go.
Oh, well, now I lost my train of thought. What came easier? Launching him to some degree, you know, he's in this supported college program. And once he got his groove after a year, I can say he's really thriving now. And I don't think I ever up to this point had said, oh, Jack is thriving.
Right.
So that came easier. What, you know, and I'm just talking from the perspective of a mom with a young adult. It still takes me by surprise how when we do see him again, there is this transition period where we're just getting used to each other's nervous systems. And that's right where we are. It takes a couple of days for us to all sort of come together again. And I obviously don't experience that with any of my other kids. You know, you get together and it's like no time has passed.
Oh, that's interesting.
Hmm.
Yeah, like he doesn't want to be parented at all. He has these mannerisms and these movements that, you know, I haven't seen him since July. Joe went up to visit him. I haven't seen him since July. And I don't want to say I forget, but you don't, I lose sight of how much a part of him they are. The rubbing and the hopping and the talking, and how he's sort of this moving chaos all the time.
Mhm.
So that, you know, I wrote my essay today on Substack is sad. It ends sad, but I talk about how for whatever reason we named him John, but we call him Jack, and that has shown up for us in not great ways, and really we should just change his name. And I talk through all the different things he has been called: rude, naughty, autistic, brother, son, you know, one day uncle. And then I sort of take through the end of the life, like I've never seen an old man with autism. Like, what will they call him when I'm gone? You know, who will remember his name? You
Oh,
know,
that's beautiful. Yeah. Hmm.
so
That's beautiful.
Hmm.
I'm trying to think of, I will say, for the easier one, I've always been afraid of every next stage with autism. Like I couldn't imagine having, like I couldn't imagine having a boy who doesn't talk. Like that, I'm very honest with that. That is like, that was earth shattering for me. That like he may never talk. I'll tell you, it's fine. Like Cooper can communicate with sign language and his speech device, and he can communicate so well. Like, do I know his favorite color? No. Do I, you know, the things that Harbor says to me and Sawyer are unbelievable. I don't know that stuff about Cooper, but we talk and we have conversations. He gets his needs met. I was really scared for him to be a teenager. It's just another, it's just another thing. Like I'm so afraid of like school ending, being a young adult. Yeah. I'll tell you, it all just happens and you're just, it's fine.
yeah.
I feel like that, like it just keeps happening. I am a little afraid of some things about puberty, but I don't know, not as afraid as some people have tried to make me.
You've weathered.
It,
I feel like in knowing you, you've weathered a lot worse storms than puberty.
yes.
So, and you've gotten through those. And also, as you've said, like Cooper's sort of, his makeup is a little different, genetically speaking, in terms of what puberty might look like for him.
Yeah. Yep. And I'll tell you, like, he sleeps now, so I have to wake him up in the morning for school. I never thought, I mean, this kid started every day at 3 a.m. for his whole life. He sleeps now. Yeah, there's parts that are easier that I didn't think would be. So it gets better.
Yeah, it does.
Adrian, do you have any?
Yeah, I think the biggest one for me, which is funny now when you look back, was I was really worried like when he turns 3, when he turns or 4, some like no, I didn't have the diagnosis yet, but I was like, people are gonna, it's gonna be, it's gonna be permanent. Like at 2, you could be like, he's 2. That's a 2-year-old,
Yeah.
you know, and now I'm like 3. That was like nothing, you know, and now but that doesn't bother me as much anymore.
Mm-mm.
It doesn't, I don't, And Carrie, I wonder how it's different with you and maybe being away from Jack the way you are. I can't imagine how that would be different. But like, I'm just used to him looking different, sounding different, being different. Like it doesn't jar me
Yeah.
at all. You know, like now this weekend, Blair had her friends here and he had his robe on and the robe was like undone, you know, and I was like, oh, let's tie your robe up. But, you know, I wasn't like, I didn't feel, I don't, I don't feel like a visceral
Mm,
reaction, the way that maybe I thought I was going to.
mm, mhm.
So that's a nice, that's a nice thing that felt very scary to me that but and maybe that'll change but it has not been what I thought it was going to be in a scary way.
Lisa from Cody Speaks wrote a beautiful post that really changed me about the first time her son Cody looked disabled. And she had, in the post, she shared a picture of him on a swing. He was like, I don't know, 12, 13, 14. And he was a big boy. And he was on a special needs swing at a playground. And she's like, up until this point, no one would know. And now they know. And there's a subtle shift. You know, there is like Cooper, there's no questioning. Cooper is, he would never, you would never not know, I guess.
Oh.
And I thought that would bother me more, but in a way it's kind of a blessing because
Yes, it's almost more freeing. Like they don't blend in. Like Jack blends in probably just enough, and he's doing these independent life things that Cooper and Amos aren't doing. You know?
Yeah, and I mean, I really waffle on that. Like at one point, I'm like, I want people to know because they'll be more gentle with him.
Yep.
Is my hope. He's giant. Like he says he wants to shop for shoes. You're not going to go to Kohl's and buy size 15 shoe. Like that's the size human I'm talking. For me, sometimes I debate. He's in a community with everybody else just like him, and there's no more family influence. Like that's not how we talk. We walk tall, you know, whatever you have it. And I'm like, how to put it? He's almost surrounded by people that are too much like him, yeah, or just enough like him that there's no leaders, there's no role model. Like we're here, he would have had.
Inclusion.
What's that?
Inclusion. I mean, having your typically developing peers with you.
Like Charlie influences Jack a lot, but they don't spend as much time together. But today Charlie's like, all right, buddy, we're going to tuck in your shirt, you know, pull it down. You know, he's gained some weight, like pull your shirt down over your belly. Just little like, just appearance things. Not, we're by no means like a vanity driven family, but I do think it matters. And whenever I bring something up to Jack, like your pants are really too short or you've put too much in your pockets, it's pulling them down, he'll say, nobody told me that. Nobody says that to me where I live. And it reminds me, what I read once is that people on the spectrum have a hard time understanding that we have thoughts in our mind that they're not privy to. They don't understand. And we're thinking all the time.
Oh,
So, yeah. So interesting.
Adrian,
It's time for bed.
two supporters real quick.
It's time for bed.
Yes, in 10 minutes. Okay.
All right.
No, in 10 minutes. Come on, it's time.
Who wants to go to bed? That's a big deal.
He's excited for tomorrow.
Oh,
Are you flying?
what's
Where are we going tomorrow?
It's the time that we cannot stay in school.
The day we cannot stay in school.
oh
Okay, let's hop on my
Right.
support.
Not
Okay.
Bye.
okay. Bye.